So, tell me something terrible.
Let's fumble our way through this.
Act professional.
All right. Yeah, right.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be.
All right. You can start whenever you want.
Okay. Hi. Welcome to Tell Me Something Terrible. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Scott.
And this is where I read something terrible to my husband.
And I try to take it seriously. Which is going to happen all the time.
All the time. So this is our very first episode, so welcome.
You probably couldn't tell because we're supernaturals at this, so it'll be like not awkward at all. So just go with it.
Oh, and totally great to listen to.
Mm-hmm. Our best one's probably, it's all downhill after this.
Yes, I completely agree. Yep. So just bear with us through this entire experience. Hopefully as we go, things get better. So you ready for me to start?
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. All right. So
do you have an overwhelming or over-enveloping theme for this one?
Oh, yeah. So we're going to talk about the blizzards of 1967 and 1978.
Good. I was negative 19 then. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I totally remember that.
Yes. Well, I'm sure your dad did.
He's 12, so maybe.
Yes. And everybody else's dad in the entire state of Michigan.
Which is where we're from, in case you're not one of our 3 friends who might actually listen to this.
Yes. So I went lighthearted and quirky for the first episode because I didn't want to get too deep and sad from the get.
From the get?
Yes, from the get. Yep.
It's normal.
Mm-hmm. I think you'll appreciate the story because of all of the opportunities for the dad jokes. And anytime that it snows, some dad somewhere has to bring up one of these storms, and they have to tell stories about it. So it is the literal, when I was your age, I had to walk uphill to school in a snowstorm story.
Ways.
But yes.
Everything was uphill.
And both
on a
ways.
mountain. Yes.
Yes. With that being said, let's get started. So January 24th in 1967 was unseasonably warm for southern Michigan. With a record high of 66 degrees in the state's capital, Michiganders were enjoying the sunshine and beautiful weather, blissfully unaware of the looming danger just on the horizon.
What month was it?
January.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Seeing as last January is like negative 20 here, that's a bit of a difference.
Was that last January?
That was 2 January.
Yeah.
Sorry. 2020 I ignore. Mm-hmm. It was the one before that.
Yes. Yep. Yes. So slowly rolling across the Great Lakes was the storm of the decade. So 2 days later, on January 26th, southern Michigan got a shit ton of snow dumped on it. Topping out with 30 inches in Kalamazoo, 26.8 inches in Battle Creek, 24 inches in Lansing, 23.8 in Saginaw, yes, I'm making a list, 22.7 inches in Flint, and 18 inches in Grand Rapids, and a mere 16 in Jackson, and only 11 in Muskegon.
I remember all of that, so I appreciate you putting all those numbers in there.
Well, you know, it's important for, like, the second half of the story, so...
Okay, everyone, take notes.
Yes.
16 in Jackson, that's all I remember.
Apparently, this record-breaking snowstorm barely glanced at the UP because the little anecdotes in the comment sections I found on some of these articles, all the Yoopers were like, what storm? So either there was no storm or they were wildly unimpressed with it all. And so were Detroiters. They got a whopping inch of rain. Yeah.
It's strange.
Yeah.
Okay.
So National Guard was called in to help the Michigan State Police with the post-storm cleanup and to transportation to residents that needed help or dugout.
Does the National Guard have plow trucks?
I don't know.
What was the point of that?
There was no elaboration.
They shot the snow.
Yes.
That's why they brought in the army.
Yes.
Blow torches.
There was, yes.
Flamethrowers. Yeah, that's what they're called. Not blow torches.
Mm-hmm.
Those are small.
Napalm.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, aggressive. I mean, it was the 60s.
That's true. Yeah.
Families were separated and staying with strangers or friends close by. Schools were canceled for weeks in some districts. Businesses were closed. Farmers had to dump milk because it couldn't be picked up for processing and delivery. Accidents and mass traffic jams galore. Just cars for as far as the eye can see. Or at least mounds of cars shaped like snow as far as the eyes can see. No. Snow mounds shaped like cars as far as the eye can see.
Carmen rolled into the shapes of snowmen. Cars on highways.
Yes.
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 Carrots and buttons everywhere.
Yes.
Yes, for tires.
Yes. Like for literal miles. 7 employees from the Thompson Sign Company quick side note. They let one of their employees bring their scrap metal and aluminum when I worked at the scrapyard, and they got to keep the money. He was super nice and looked like Santa. God forbid I remember his name.
Okay.
Anyway.
You just had to bring up a Santa reference in your snowstorm story.
Yeah, mostly it's the scrapyard reference.
Okay, yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Didn't even think about the Santa. They were coming home from Grand Rapids after going to a supplier show of some sort, and were then stranded for the entire night in sub-freezing temperatures after the storm began. Their stuck station wagon caused an 8-mile traffic jam. And the next morning, they managed to make it out to a nearby farmhouse a mile away. The farmhouse played host to 30 other stranded people from the highway.
Oh, it's cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine 30 people in our house?
Our house is huge, so maybe. But, like,
Most,
strangers? No,
yeah.
you'd freak out.
Yes.
One stranger, and you're like, I'm not staying here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We live together, by the way. It's normal.
Yeah. Yes. He's not a stranger.
Yeah.
A veteran weather tracker is quoted as saying, "Nothing moved for 2 days. In the Kalamazoo area and across the state, nothing went anywhere."
Oh, like the snowstorm. I thought we were still talking about traffic. You're
No.
talking the storm
I mean,
system. Right.
No, traffic. Like traffic,
You said he's a weather
houses.
guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, weathermen have opinions on, like,
No.
what a weathers
They
actually do.
only know weather.
Yeah. No, it only snowed for like 24 hours, not 2 days.
Okay.
Like,
It's a lot of snow.
yes.
All right.
Yes. It gets worse.
Terrific.
Yes.
Do people die in this story?
Yes.
Oh, good. I was wondering where the terrible part was. Like snow, whatever.
The death toll.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yep. So let's tell some quick stories from this blurb that I found on the blizzard on onlyinyourstate.com. Lisa Lynn says, these ones are fun, by the way, not depressing yet. My mom remembers this storm. She was 5 when it hit and remembers waiting for her dad to come home from work and watching out the window for him when she's seen him walking.
It starts like a sad story.
It does. When she sees... No, he walks up. Don't worry.
When he never shows up.
So he saw him walking up, and she asked, "Where's the car?" Turns out the blizzard was so bad, the car got stuck up the road, and he had to walk the rest of the way home in the blizzard.
That's not bad.
Nah.
No.
Bill says school was let out early. Bill, that's his name.
You had
Just
a
Bill.
first, middle, last name for the first quote. This one's just Bill.
No, Lisa Lynn was her full name.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This one is just Bill.
Just Bill.
Yep. Says school was let out early in the afternoon, and I stayed for basketball practice. I didn't make it home for 3 days, and I lived on a farm.
3 days?
No, sorry, 4 days. Yep, I lived on a farm 3 miles south of town, and they all stayed at a friend's house. So all the kids just...
We call that quarantine now, but okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
yes. Another fun one from Karen. My dad loaded 2 of the 4 of us kids onto a plastic sled and pulled us about 4 blocks to the grocery store, leaving a trail of snow that was easier when we came back.
And when Karen got to the grocery store, she talked to the manager.
Yes,
Sorry.
she did.
Slow-hanging fruit.
Yes, it was. So not all of the memories were that great. Joyce recalls that what she remembers most is listening to the radio for emergency calls and people being delivered their medication by others on snowmobiles or even snowshoes. William worked in St. Joe's at the time and took I-196 to I-94 to get there. The snow was so bad that he drove around to the south of town looking for a usable exit. He ended up stranded on the highway for 8 hours in a huge-ass blizzard, waiting for a front loader to show up to clear the exit ramp that he was stuck at.
Nice.
Yeah. And according to an MLive article, there were 22 deaths in relation to the snowstorm. 3 were traffic fatalities. Most of them were heart attacks from either pushing a stuck car or shoveling snow.
I pushed a stuck car. It's a shock to your system.
Yeah.
And it's freezing cold out.
And shoveling snow is kind of a bummer, too.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, know your limits.
Yeah.
Don't be a bitch.
So, not so bad for the worst blizzard in Michigan history, right? They called WW1 the Great War until the second one happened.
Did you say WW1?
Yes, World War I.
Nope.
That joke landed poorly.
WW1.
Yes. Bum, bum, bum. So anyway, 11 years later, on the anniversary of the big blizzard of 1967, the whole entire Midwest was hit with it. And you're going to love the name of this blizzard.
Did they name them like hurricanes?
Oh, no. And not like the dumb cold fronts that we had a few years ago where like everybody had to have like the... Oh, gosh, what were those things called?
I have no idea.
Where they came down from Canada and they all had names. And
I just remember the polar vortex.
That's it. The polar vortexes all had names. Yeah.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
Nice.
It was horrible. So the name of this blizzard was the Cleveland Superbomb.
It sounds like a WNBA team.
Yeah.
What?
Ow!
They always have like little offbeat names.
Yeah?
Yeah. And it's Cleveland. Cleveland rocks.
Yep.
Yep.
So this snowstorm is the snowstorm that my dad never shuts the fuck up about. Drifts taller than my head. We took sleds off the roof of your granny's house.
Yeah.
And there were drifts over taller than your
If
head.
I could understand your dad, I'm sure he's told me that story before.
Oh, multiple times.
Yeah.
Probably any time that it snowed here.
Yeah. Only 4 months out of the year.
Yeah, only 4. So this one was significantly worse than the one that happened over a decade earlier. According to another article from MLive, because they were my main source, they actually came through for me on this topic, even though for anything else, they're just wretched to try to pile through and find things. Pile through? File through.
No, pile through.
Totally pile.
Yep.
The snowfall was more widespread, covering even more of Michigan and affecting the neighboring states of Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Ohio.
Is this where the inches come into effect in each county?
Yes.
24.6 here, and 21.3
Yes.
just west of there.
So
For anyone who's not from central Michigan, they have no idea where any of these places are.
No,
It's Kalamazoo. That was in a Johnny Cash song. I remember that.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. And then everywhere else, like, I have no idea.
So the highest inches, the deepest snow that they had for the storm in 67 was 30 inches. So the deepest snowfall here in for this storm was 36 inches. So it's a little deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get 6 inches deeper, you're doing something. The look she just gave me was just pure, just shame. Just that's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. But at least for this snowstorm, the state was a little more prepared, albeit they were still shocked by the amount of snow. A state of emergency was declared, and a request was made for additional federal aid just for snow removal. So let's dive into some quick anecdotes before the fun facts. There was an article in the Muskegon Chronicle detailing the story of 30 employees from Gentel offices being snowed in. This one's actually a nice story. The fridge was stocked, they made dinner for each other, hung out watching TV, and played cards. The company even paid for them for the time that they were stuck there.
So it wasn't like Survivor or anything?
No one had to fight for like the last cracker and like the coffee.
Eat the week. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that would make a much more entertaining story.
Well, it is. I mean, it could have been terrible, and that's what we're doing here, so
Yes.
you never know.
I'm trying to, sprinkle in some good news every once in a while.
Yeah, this one's very cheery.
Yes.
I haven't frowned once.
Yes. Not even at the 22 deaths from the last storm.
I mean, 20, but you like 3 deaths from auto accidents. That's every day on I-94 in Michigan. Like that's just a day.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, this was just a day too. Yeah,
But
the
no.
death toll for this one's a little worse.
No, 22. I mean, that sucks, but like it's not like shocking.
Yeah. And this one's fun too. A lady named Lorraine was soups pregnant. A neighbor came over to have some coffee and was concerned about her going into labor with no transport through the snow to the hospital. So the well-intended neighbor went home to contact the police over his broadband radio.
The well-intended neighbor who's given a pregnant lady fully leaded coffee. I see how she is. Okay.
It was the 70s. I don't know what you want. So he wanted to let her know, the police know about her condition. There was a massive miscommunication, and apparently all the police heard was the name of the address, like the address to the house, and pregnant. So Lorraine and her husband were just watching the snowfall, minding their own business, when a fire truck came tearing into their house, asking for the lady in labor.
The fire truck came into their house?
Yes, right through the front door.
I have so many more problems.
Where's this pregnant bitch at?
Yeah. Just a Dalmatian staring them in the face while they're watching TV.
So they had to apologize for the situation. Well, it turns out the neighbor knew it was coming because she went into labor the next morning.
She saw the fire truck barreling towards their house. Yeah.
Baby dropped out. So they called 911, and the dispatcher responded with, she better really be in labor this time, or Yeah, or like they could get a fine and stuff.
Yeah.
So when she got to the hospital, there was literally only one nurse on duty, and the doctor had to be brought in on a snowmobile. So
nice.
Yeah, you know how everybody likes to tell their labor and delivery stories.
Yeah.
This one was probably a doozy.
Yeah.
There was another baby that was born via flashlight that night too, in some other hospital somewhere. I should have wrote it down, but I didn't.
Flashlight?
Yeah, like the power was out, and they delivered it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Candlelight would have been more mood appropriate, but I guess flashlight's fine.
Yeah. Well, you know, we work with. Yeah, I don't think hospitals really have.
Was it like a
candles.
miner's like headlamp? The doctor's just in there.
Oh, that's so bad. So there was even a prison break. I'll give you one guess where that prison break happened
Jackson?
at. What? How did you know?
Prison capital of Michigan.
So according to the Jackson Sit-Pat, 3 Michigan prison inmates took advantage of the cover of the heavy snow.
Over the barbed wire? Yeah.
Under the barbed wire.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I was going to say.
They hid in the low visibility provided by the blizzard, cut a hole in the fence, and wrapped themselves in white sheets to blend in. Luckily, they didn't make it far and were apprehended by Jackson police at a house in town. So, they made it a little ways.
Huh. Their Eskimo gear wasn't up to... their ghost costumes failed them.
Yeah, yep.
They got holes cut in the eyes. Yeah, and they're just shuffling across the yard.
Maybe they won't see me.
Yeah.
So, the Kroger in town had to close due to shoppers fighting over foods in the aisles. Jackson's Kroger.
Okay.
Yeah. Shocked, I know.
East Side one. It's closed now. That's probably the one.
Too soon.
We've never been there in our lives.
No, we go to the classy Kroger.
I don't even go to that one.
No, we went once for fish.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm cutting this out.
riveting conversation.
Yeah.
So let's now go over some of the stats.
No, let's please talk about Kroger more.
Please. It is definitely on record for the worst blizzard in Michigan history. Even worse than the shitty one a few years ago that hit literal negative 26 degrees and was freezing the inside of doors and also almost our pipes. So widespread snow across lower Michigan varied anywhere between 10 to 36 inches. So this time around, Muskegon got the 36 inches of snow, Jackson got 23, Saginaw was 22.5, Kalamazoo got 20, Grand Rapids...
Put a pie chart on the Instagram or Twitter?
No, not a pie chart.
Not a
we
pie
need
chart,
a
like
bar
a
graph.
table, like a table side by side.
Yes. It's just riveting.
Yeah. Can you actually hold up a meter stick and I'll take pictures of you?
A whole meter stick?
Yeah.
You mean yardstick?
Yardstick, yes. I went Canadian there, sorry.
Apparently. We're not far off.
Yeah.
So Flint got 10 inches, and Detroit actually got snow this time with a whopping 8 inches.
It's the cleanest snow Flint's ever got.
Too soon. So these snow drifts reached 15 feet. So they really were taller than houses whenever you hear, every dad being like, it was taller than our roof. So 20 counties were put on red alert, and I quote, for a storm of unprecedented magnitude. Magnitude.
Really get in there.
Yes. Just trying to get real fancy. So you might be excited about this fact or vaguely know what it means, but it seems like a big deal. The storm set a record for the third lowest barometric measurement in a non-tropical atmospheric pressure in the mainland United States.
I grasped all of that.
Yes. Yeah. It was a big deal.
That's like one of those ESPN stats where they're like, he's got the most points in the fourth quarter wearing 2 shoes that aren't the same color using his left hand. Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, it was like mentioned multiple times in multiple articles.
About maritime barometric pressure something?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Told you, big deal.
I mean, I'm the scientist here. You can tell.
Yes, you can tell. Well, you did get a bachelor's in art in biochemistry, right?
It's liberal arts.
Sorry.
Thank you.
So sorry. So the wind actually reached hurricane levels in some areas. There were gusts measured for, over 60 to 70 miles per hour, and some locations reported winds up to 100 miles an hour. So not only did businesses and homes suffer from snow damage, they also suffered from wind damage from a blizzard in Michigan. There were 125,000 vehicles stranded on the roads, 400,000 people without electricity in just Michigan, not including the rest. For nearly a month after the storm, temperatures rarely topped freezing and in most places dropped below zero. So this blizzard produced wind chills reaching negative 50 degrees
So
Fahrenheit.
the snow just stayed.
Yes.
It just didn't go anywhere.
Forever.
Forever.
Yes.
It's actually still here.
Yes, that's what happens every year. It just seeps up out of the ground. It never actually snows.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yes.
Yeah.
Science.
You learned that in your barometric pressure deep dive?
Yes.
Yes.
So the death toll for this storm in Michigan only amounted to 20. Again, they were mostly due to heart attacks or car accidents, and at least one person died from exposure while they were stranded in their car. In Ohio, their death toll was slightly higher, with a total of 50.
That's double. So
Yes,
yeah, slightly.
Yes. So this one was a little more of a doozy. So that was the story about the two deadliest and worst blizzards in Michigan history. The blizzard of 1967 and the more colorfully named Cleveland Superbomb of 1978.
It's a terrific name. Why is it Superbomb?
I have no idea.
It's like the snow just exploded. Like they didn't see it coming.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. I'm surprised there's not, like, and Cleveland's got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm surprised there's not a band named the Cleveland Superbomb.
If there's not, we need to make one.
Oh, because I'm so musically inclined.
Very much
You can
so.
play the trumpet and I can whistle. It'll be it'll be like the crappiest ska band you've ever heard. Our kid can sing a little bit. She's a little pitchy, but she tries hard.
She's very pitchy.
That's in now. We'll just call it indie.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
It's not Indianapolis.
No.
Oh, okay.
Different.
I thought
state.
you were saying I was making an Indiana joke.
No.
Did you think I was?
No.
Do you not know where Cleveland's at?
Cleveland is
We've
in
been to
Ohio.
Cleveland.
Thank you. We have. Yes, I've been to Cleveland twice.
That's the only place we've seen a live podcast, actually.
It is.
But
Look at us go.
Look at us go. Is your story over already?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Look at that. We did our first podcast, kind of.
we did. Would you like me to go over sources?
If you've made it this far, congratulations.
Yes.
And thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Sources? Sure.
Yes.
It
All
was all MLive and SitPat.
No. Mostly M Live, yeah.
And Lorraine for her story.
Yes. I think that was Lisa Lynn.
No, Lorraine was the pregnant lady.
Oh, Lorraine, she
Come
was.
on now.
I know. I researched this and wrote it, and I'm still like, no.
I only remember names.
I can't believe I made it through college.
Yeah. All of the colleges.
All of the colleges. No, just two. I dropped out of
You
one,
made it
so
through
doesn't,
one, yeah.
it doesn't count.
Are you going to put that caveat in there?
Yeah.
I attended 2 colleges. Just one I finished.
Yes. I finished and had two. It's a long story. So my sources, I gathered most of the information from MLive articles written by Julie Mack, Eric Gartner, Mark Torregrossa.
Nailed it.
Totally. Brandon Champion, and from the website onlyinyourstate.com.
Is that a clickbait thing or is it a real?
It's a little bit of a clickbait thing, but it's a really good place to get it's kind of like when you go to Wiki to get like a general, and then you can kind of just bury yourself in information after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Gateway drug. That's what that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah.
Do you feel good about this one?
Totally.
Okay. So, fun fact. We're going to try to do another one of these tonight, and we've already been drinking. So, episode 2, which will come out sometime after episode 1, should be even worse. So, look for that one. You good?
Yes.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to our terrible podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at TMSTPod.
And if you'd like to support the show, you can find us on Patreon at Tell Me Something Terrible.
Oof, that was terrible.